Hi guys, we are so excited to move on to the next, to the last part actually of our course. But essentially in this chapter, we are going to share with you how to then actually buy the shares. You recall that we showed you the fundamental technical analysis. So Tinashe and I here will walk you through that process. And what you see on the screen is that, this is, I use Questtrade brokerage account. It's a Canadian brokerage account. And what you see here is essentially this is a practice account. And you see that they have given me 100,000 Canadian dollars, which is like virtual money. But basically, this is important to understand, like before even if you're trading or investing, to understand how it actually works. So you see that, but this one is this is for Forex. But I'm just going to demonstrate how you then buy the shares. For example, let's say you want to buy, let's start, Tinashe, which stock do you think maybe we can
Yeah,
uh,
let's just go for Microsoft.
Microsoft. So Microsoft, it has a ticker name MSFT.
Oh, I think it's still on the FX. Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
but these are the interface for the actual stock, for doing the stocks will be different, but these are more like a certificate of difference. These are kind of like futures, right? So what happens is, like, if you want to buy shares using this account, they kind of like give you leverage, but that's beyond the scope of this. But the idea is today Microsoft is trading at, $390.38. What you see here is the bid price. In other ways, that's the price that you want to be buying. Usually it's cheaper. Then the ask is someone who is selling, right? Let's say someone who has the shares for Microsoft wants to sell them for $390.56, and you can see that is changing here. So now, if you then want to buy, like we described here, you can see here that you can adjust here the price. Let's say you want it to just, buy at a specific price. So what you do is you do a limit order. So you limit it, let's say you want to buy at, let's say, $390.50. And what you want to do here, you want to buy. So what you do is you click buy, and let's say you have $1,000. Let's say you want to buy 3 shares. So that's what you see here. And you can see that in this case, you will have, um, you will be able to buy 3 shares, but the cost in this case would be 1,191 US dollars. And they would charge you the fees for $6.95. And again, this is something that is very important. When choosing a brokerage account, you want to choose a broker who has, lower fees, because $6.95 is actually a big percentage relative, when you look at the cost. Like, you are investing 1,171 dollars, and almost $7 is gone, right? So if you repeat this, you can lose some money. So what happens is, that's what happens here. You then click confirm, right? So the order has been placed. It has been placed. So that means I now have 3 shares of Microsoft. Now, let's say this is an individual stock. Let's say you want to do SPY, which is an exchange traded fund that I usually like to buy. What happens is, I would click here, and I would do the same. If I want to buy, if you want to sell, you leave it like this. But let's say I want to buy 5 shares of SPY, right? You can see it costs me 2.7 US dollars. So you should always make sure that you check to see if the quantity is the right one, the price. And you can see that the price can be oscillating, but you see there's the bid price and the sell price. So let's say in this case you want to buy at $494, right? And the other important aspect is you want to make sure that it's a day order, because the prices can change any time. So if you have a day order, and if it doesn't, if it is not executed, that order, it means it's cancelled, and then tomorrow you reevaluate. Because what happens is, But if you have a limit order, at least it just strictly buys at that price. But if you have a market order, it means essentially you want to buy at any prevailing price, right? So usually is the ask price. So this is what you have, the market order. But when I'm trading, I like to have a limit order because sometimes some people might put an order that is really like way below that, right? So, or way above. So you want to be careful about that. So this is how it works. You can just double check here and boom, that's it. Again, this is a practice account, but essentially what this means is in this account, this is how it works. And let's see what I have here. You can have all these other, nuances that you can see, but this is how it works. And if I then go on open orders, it will show me the shares that I currently hold. Like I showed you, I have 5 shares for SPY and the 3 shares for Microsoft. So this is how it works. But the thing is, what is important is to make sure that um, you you only buy stocks that you understand, right? So from what I can see here, uh, you can see here I have no closed position. You can just go around and just understand what this means, and you learn how things go. But essentially, that's the gist. For those who do forex, it's the same principle, right? And if you are trading futures, that's a kind of like a more advanced situation because you have to have limit orders because otherwise you get whacked. So that's it. I think
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. And just to, I think just to highlight as well that so this is you're looking at CFDs. I think what Isaac mentioned as well.
Yes.
Um, so in this particular case, you don't necessarily own the stock, but in terms of how the mechanics of buying and selling work, it's pretty much the same. So limit orders, that's all you're gonna find the exact same thing in when you're buying stocks as well. So this is a very good overview of just how it works, and I think also highlighting that starting with a demo account is a very good way to just get familiar with all of this stuff. And even for example, if you don't have the cash right now and you want to get a feel of investing, you can just start today and just open a demo account and start getting used to building that discipline, building the philosophy, and seeing how your returns work out. So that's a really good way to start, even if you don't have the capital or you don't have the access. The demo accounts are really, really helpful, and pretty much all platforms offer them as well.
Yeah, and that's very, very important. And especially if you're trading, you want to make sure that you have done some practice, even though it will be different. Imagine now let's say this order had gone through and the stock drops by 10, 20%. Psychologically, it might be different because this is
Mm,
just, paper money. And I know actually that this is not my money, actual money. So it's not going to really impact me. And what I can see here, these orders have not really gone through, but that's not really the point here. At the end of the day, what is important is to just make sure that you understand the stocks, or like what Warren Buffett likes to say, the businesses that you are investing in. Because when you're owning a stock, you're buying a piece of that business. It has to be generating some free cash flows, some making some profits. Some people want to invest even in businesses that are making loss with the perspective that they might generate profit in the future. Tinashe, you have done some work on Jumia, but usually uh, businesses that are making loss, they don't last forever because at some point investors will say, look, we are just losing money. So you don't want, in my case, I prefer to invest in businesses that are profitable. Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So you can stop sharing here. And is there anything else, Tinashe, that you want to share with our audience in terms of like the other important nuances when you are investing? I think we covered almost most of the stuff here, but if they have any questions now, that's where they can reach out and we'll be happy to,
Mm.
to answer specific questions. But of course, there's limited time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds accurate, and definitely people can reach out. And I know particularly Isaac is an expert in terms of coaching and supporting people who really want to have that more tailored long-term um, guidance. Um, and so reach out to him and, see what can be worked out um, from his professional coaching services. But yeah, if there's a straightforward questions that we can answer quickly, then please feel free to reach out. And then, of course, for longer, more permanent arrangements, please feel free to reach out to discuss that as well. Yeah, but thank you very much.
Yes, yes. And we'll put our contact details here. But I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is that understand the stocks that you are investing. Some people, they do currencies. Some people, they do the bond markets, but we just did an overview of the stock market. There are different kinds of markets, commodity markets, but the principles are the same in many ways. So make sure you trade and invest wisely. And I hope you enjoyed this course. And let us know if you have any questions, like we said. Thank you again.
Thank you.